Milwaukee Cannibal, featuring Jeffrey Dahmer. Full name, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. Crimes and sprees. Jeffrey was known to take the lives of 17 young men who were specifically gay and primarily males with an African American ethnicity. Majority of the murders and crimes had occurred in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. However, there were earlier crimes that began in Ohio. On 1978, in Ohio, he murdered his first known victim, Stephen Hicks, who he met as a teenager. He would engage in necrophiliac activities along with consuming their body parts and as a ritualistic behavior and plan. Other than murdering and engaging with horrifying activities, Jeffrey was known to do other crimes such as child molestation, abuse, assault, and exposure disorderly conduct. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 1988, Jeffrey had drugged and molested a minor, leading him to being arrested for 10 months in correctional facility. In addition, years before, on 1982, he was arrested for exposure, being nude in front of two females. Another similar case to the 1982 one occurred on 1986, leading to another fine and arrest. He would often go to gay bars and clubs, luring young men to his apartment. In a few occasions, he lured his victims with the method of hitchhiking. Jeffrey offered alcohol and companionship, specifically listening to their stories and lives. The spree lasted from 1978 to 1991, before being arrested when attempting to rape Tracy Edwards, whom escaped and reported to authorities. Investigation. When authorities arrived at Jeffrey Dahmer's room in the apartment, they lightly investigated inside the room. However, it would soon turn from a light look around to a full-on investigation due to the gruesome and hazardous objects and things they discovered inside. During the investigation, it was discovered that on 1991, it was reported that a boy named Konerak Sinthasophome was found nude in the streets. However, the police who discovered the nude boy dismissed it, and in fact, gave the boy back to the hands of the serial killer, leading to the end of Konerak's life. In addition, many neighbors had reported the fact that there was a foul odor coming from Jeffrey's room. However, each time the reports would come to the authorities and the landlords, they would dismiss them. The investigation was led by Milwaukee detectives Patrick Kennedy and Dennis Murphy. During the interviews, Jeffrey remained calm, told every bit of detail he remembered in his mind, allowing the police to unravel the truth behind the calm demeanor of Jeffrey. It was discovered in one of his confessions he had experimented on one of his victims on transforming him into a zombie, as he claimed, which led to the conclusion on why acid was discovered in Jeffrey's room. Jeffrey had expressed a sense of relief after confessing the details to the investigators, and in fact, he was glad they stopped him despite having the urges and craving to commit the actions again. Trial and court proceedings. In 1992, there was a trial held for the case of Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. During the court proceedings, Jeffrey barely spoke a word and remained stoic and unexpressive. He, matter of fact, did not look up towards the judges or let alone the victims' families. In fact, he had stated himself that he didn't wear his glasses because he couldn't bear looking at the faces, or the pain the families had carried in their expression. His defense team had argued he did with the plea of insanity, with the proof of his necrophiliac engagement and personality disorder. However, at the end, he was declared legally sane. The Milwaukee judge, Lawrence C. Graham, sentencing him to 900 years in prison. However, Jeffrey himself did not look for freedom, did not crave it either. He knew he wouldn't get out of prison from the start. He stated this wasn't about gaining freedom or lowering his sentence. During the trial, the court featured the victims' families, as mentioned before, creating a sense of emotion, especially during the trial involving Rita Isabel, the sister of victim Errol Lindsley, had spoken. She expressed pure grief, pure hate towards Jeffrey, which was restrained by several of the court deputies. On February 17, 1992, Jeffrey received his sentencing for 15-degree murders. Childhood. When Jeffrey was a toddler, he seemingly had a happy life in the start, often engaging in fun activities with his brother David Dahmer, who changed his name in the future. However, he had resentment towards Dahmer when he was born, as well, while playing with him, viewing him as a robber for stealing attention from his parents, Lionel Dahmer and Joyce Dahmer. The relationship with his parents were complex. His mother suffered from severe mental illnesses along with the drug addiction and outburst reactions. His father, on the other hand, had a lot of absence in the life of Jeffrey, often missing out on his school events or even personal events. Often both his father and mother would fight, causing stress towards him. Jeffrey, at age 8, had grown interest towards the inner organs of animals and the corpse itself. He would often look for roadkills on the roads and pick them up, then preserve their bodies inside of jars. At age 14, he began to have arousal towards sexual fantasies involving control and necrophilia, then drinking alcohol at school. In 1978, when Jeffrey turned 18, his parents divorced, his mother leaving him with his father, also winning the custody towards his brother David. His father, though later on would marry a lady named Sherry Jordan, who became his mother figure towards Jeffrey, as it was reported. Pivotal events. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on the 21st of May, 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. On 1966, him and his family moved to Bath, Ohio. On June 18, 1978, he murdered his first victim, Stephen Hicks. Late 1978, Jeffrey dropped out from college. 1979 to 1981, Jeffrey enlisted in the U.S. Army. On 1981, he moves with his grandmother. On May 1990, Jeffrey moves to his apartment 213 Oxford's Apartments in Milwaukee. May 27, 1991, police returned Konerak Sinthasophome to Jeffrey, later murdering the boy. July 22, 1991, Tracy Edwards escapes, leading to the arrest of Jeffrey Dahmer. February 1992, his sentencing was declared. Quotes from Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. It was an obsessive desire to be with them, whoever it was, to possess them permanently. I didn't want them to leave. I tried to keep them with me. It wasn't because I hated them, it was because I wanted to keep them. I loved them. I wanted to see if it was possible to make them submissive, to stay with me, and just do whatever I wanted. I wanted to find out what it was that caused me to be so bad and evil. I know that I am sick, or evil, or both. Now I believe I was sick. Thank God it's over. I mean that. I'm glad it's over, because if I hadn't been stopped, I would have kept going. I feel so bad for what I did to those poor families, and I understand their rightful hate. I know society will never be able to forgive me. I take full responsibilities. I don't care if I live or die. Go ahead and kill me. Forensic inferences. His childhood may have been stable at first. However, it's likely it drastically turned to the worse due to the fact Jeffrey never expressed his gay emotions and identity to neither his parents or his friends. It created a sense of loneliness and difficulties expressing himself in the appropriate manner or the proper way. His father's absences may have contributed to the behavior of Jeffrey due to the fact Jeffrey was never able to receive the help of his obsession with corpses or deceased animals. The likely case involved him desiring for a companion, a man who would love him, never leave his side, always agreeing and listening to what he said. The narcissistic trait had likely gone through the mind of JD, also known as Jeffrey Dahmer. Whenever socializing with Jeffrey occurs at school, it would be either a teasing session or purposely ignoring session. So in other words, Jeffrey never had the proper chance to socialize with people. Jeffrey had a high amount of self-awareness, therefore in his mind, regardless if the crimes and the acts were notorious, horrible, he couldn't help himself. It's likely he had desired a companion for a highly long time. It's likely he would at first engage in sexual acts, then consume their body, feeling as if consumed it would help the memories and the moments with the men who he lured. Overall, there seems to have lacked a sense of genuineness in his life, resulting in a complex mind and acts. Legacy and impact. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer's case remains one of the most gruesome cases in history. He is known to be seemingly the most calm serial killer ever known. He is highly popular for his cannibalism and the consuming his victims. The Netflix series Monster was directly about the case of Dahmer. Families of the victims till this day carries the dark weight of the crimes of Dahmer.